The Global Rallycross Championship on ESPN is coming up next here from Loudon, New Hampshire. Don't miss the excitement of side-by-side sideways racing. Welcome to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway here in Loudon, New Hampshire. It's a steamy 83 degrees here down on the track, and you're here for the Global Rallycross Championship on ESPN. I'm Tess Sewell along with Jen Horsey, and wow, it has been already an exciting week here out in the New Hampshire forest. And Jen, some crazy racing we've already seen.
Already, these guys are facing a really challenging course with a whole bunch of new course elements, and it was a challenge already in practice with a couple guys going over the wall on that hairpin turn.
Well, the hairpin turn certainly has been one of the most unique new features, and for more on that feature, let's go down to the third member of our team, Shannon Spake. Shannon?
Well, Tess, Jen, you guys can call this the horseshoe, you can call it the hairpin. Tonight, we're going to call it Hold On. Obviously, based on what we saw last night in the heat races, one of the most treacherous places on this course. Couple of reasons. The guys have to get slowed down from over 100 miles per hour on this backstretch. They then have to take this ramp, which, by the way, is elevated 6 feet over the pit wall. They have to take it single file, get back around and down. Two guys, well, it didn't really work out that way for them last night. Bucky Lasek was first. He came over the wall. He locked it up, and he ended up having 2 tires on the left side of the wall. And then a little bit later, Ken Block, he said that when he was getting on his brakes, some of the gravel and the sand from the sand pit cut loose. He said it felt like glass, like he was simply on glass, and he went up and over the wall into the catch fence. It was a long night for the crew, but purely cosmetic damage for both of those cars, and they're in the race tonight. Guys?
Thanks, Shannon. And that was crazy. You saw Ken go over there, and interestingly enough, the video came from Chad Knaus. Well, we've been talking about this track. Why don't we take a look at the whole setup, Jen?
This is an amazing course. They come off the start. They get their first bit of air over the mogul there into the big gap jump with 65 feet of air right there. Up into the top, they have the option here to take the long cut, but they only do it once per heat. There's another little mogul into the car wash. They're going to get some wet and then through the gap and over the tabletop jump. This is that big, crazy corner. The Discount Tire America's Tire hairpin turn over the pit lane wall and then through the finish.
Well, we just seem to keep adding features here at Global Rallycross. There is the tabletop jump that has caused a few problems for a few guys, but I think they're going to be able to handle it here tonight. Global Rallycross Championship is brought to you by Subaru, by Discount Tire America's Tire, and by Dirt Showdown. Well, you can see that hairpin. The question is, will everybody be able to get over that thing without falling off the side? Join us and find out. Welcome back to the Global Rallycross Championship on ESPN here from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in beautiful forested Loudon, New Hampshire. You can see the drivers are in their cars. That is Mr. Travis Pastrana. There's Liam Doran sitting in his Citroen, getting things ready here. Dave Meara driving his Subaru around to the start. And they've got to go around this New Hampshire Motor Speedway track and get pre-gridded. And then we will have a 4-car heat on the line.
Looking at Samuel Hubinet there, getting ready.
And Hubinet looking fast in that Saab here this week. Maybe the length of this course, the fact that it's stretched out a little bit, will give that longer wheelbase Saab a slightly better chance with that top-end speed it seems to have, Jen. Now let's take a look at how our competition will flow tonight. In round 1, We got the heat of 4 cars. There are 2 heats with 5 cars. Top 2 in each heat advance through to the final. The others go through to the last chance qualifier, which is 1 heat of 8 cars, and the top 4 from that last chance will go through to the final. 10 cars, 6 laps. It's going to be tight on this course, right, Jen?
I cannot wait to see 10 cars take the start on this course. This is the most technical course these drivers have seen. They really like it, though, with all the additional features, the added element of dirt, which these guys have been waiting for all season long.
And that dirt is kind of sandy, so it collects in the tires and you know, up in the wheel wells, and that was the problem that Ken Block had last night when he went over. And take a look at this, the car wash. I love this feature.
And you know they're going to be in the air, and they're going to hit the water. They're going to hit the ground in that water. That's going to be a really interesting turn to keep an eye on right after that dirt section right there. And the dirt, yeah, it's tracking all around the track. Oh, and there's Richard Burton. Haven't seen him too much in the series this year, but he did have mechanical problems at the first round, and I think we may be seeing he's having trouble again.
Well, the Canadian really is having a little bit of trouble, or maybe he's just conserving gas. Who are we to say? But I got to say, we were watching this car last night and a little bit in the pit area today, belching a little bit of smoke.
This is an interesting build. It was originally designed, almost run in production stock form. You can see it's an older body, GC body Subaru. Originally run in a production stock form, and then they upgraded it for rally competition, gave it about 300 horsepower, and then they've upgraded again for rallycross. And with so many iterations and evolutions, it is an older car, and we are seeing that it's struggling a little.
And you can see the front of that car. See how that hood is kind of a little bit kinked under the word Burton, and I think that's because of a couple of rough landings that he had, both on the big gap jump and the tabletop last night.
Yeah, that's not the only place the bodywork doesn't line up. We have seen him. He once he gets out on the course, he can be pretty aggressive.
Like that back door, for example.
Like that back door, for example. And hopefully they'll be able to get it started and get into this race. But don't be surprised if you see a little bit of smoke.
So Burton is actually in the 3rd heat. He is getting pushed down to the line. And then you see the rest of the guys heading out there onto the track to do a circuit around. Well, the guys are getting set up, but why don't we take a little ride along and see just how much fun this really is?
Yeah.
How do you get past anybody on this course?
Oh, this track is absolutely awesome. It's the first track that we've had that has a little bit of passing.
After the jump, there's a very long sweeping corner where you can take an inside line or go wide.
You know, you've got a big wide area in onto the dirt section. You know, people are going to be able to make some moves, get it wrong going in there. Somebody's going to get you coming out.
You either have someone handbraking into the zone, or you have someone taking more of a speed line into the turn 2, which may set them up better on the inside on exit.
I will not tell you that. Because that is my secret for the racer.
Welcome back to the Global Rallycross Championship on ESPN here from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues tomorrow and Monday. First, tomorrow at 8 on baseball's biggest stage, it's an NL Central showdown as Carlos Beltran and the Cardinals take on Joey Votto and the Reds. Then, Monday night at 7, Albert Pujols and the Angels travel to the Motor City to face off against the Tigers, led by the Home Run Derby King, Prince Fielder. Sunday and Monday Night Baseball on ESPN. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. And we're getting set for heat number 1 here at the Global Rallycross Championship. And you can see them lining up there on the grid as we get ready to start this first heat. Let's go down to Shannon Spake, who's caught up with Ken Block. Shannon?
Well, Tess, we showed your dive over the ramp from yesterday. Made it look very graceful. You still seated second, though. Is there any possible way that you can prevent that from happening again tonight?
Yeah, you know, having that sand down in that corner is a little bit new for us here at this track, so we'd had some practice before that without that. So that was kind of a surprise how much sand had gotten dragged onto the track there in qualifying. And that was at the end of the seating session, one of the last cars to be seeing. So that's when the most sand was down there. So I think it's just something we're going to have to be aware of racing tonight, braking a little earlier into that section, that type of thing. So hopefully it won't be so bad tonight.
We saw you hanging out during the nationwide race, so you've been here a while. You saw, obviously, all the track preparations. What do you think about the fans out here and just this course in general?
Yeah, it's great to see so many fans out tonight. You know, all the events have, steadily gotten more and more fans, which is great. I think the racing is going to be quite good tonight. Everyone's pretty tight on the time, so I think it should be a good show.
Thanks, Ken. Have fun.
Well, that is Ken Block, the man, the myth, the legend. And, of course, he's not always doing this form of racing. Sometimes he's just out having fun, just released this week. Gymkhana 5. Ken, this one is spectacular.
I am so excited to get another look at this. This is my favorite of all of them. It's the 5th version of the Gymkhana series of online videos. 16.5 million views in just a couple of days.
And you see the ultimate urban playground of San Francisco. Look at this jump. I used to live downtown San Francisco, and there must have been terrible traffic when he did this. Check this jump.
I was talking to Ken earlier today. He said that was his favorite moment of filming. He loved hucking it sideways right there.
Unbelievable that you can land a rally car like this and then continue forwards.
Takes a second, but they can straighten it out. They've got 600 horsepower, and they can get going. There's Travis Pastrana, who's in this race.
I love this, Kenyo. The first time Travis was on his bike after crashing at X Games in Los Angeles last year.
These guys used to be teammates in rally, and obviously there's still a lot of trust there. Look at those guys.
And there's Ken, the man, standing on a barge in the middle of the San Francisco Bay. And this is what Ken Block does best.
Look how close he gets to the end of this thing. And you guys make sure you check it out online.
You call this hooning. And there is the chief hoonigan himself, Ken Block. He's getting ready. He'll be in our next heat. So as Ken gets himself ready and strapped in, here we are, heat number 1, the Discount Tire, America's Tire starting grid, Jen.
Very competitive heat here. Tanner Faust, Stefan Verdier, David Binks, and Sverre Isaksson.
Now, of course, Tanner Faust really currently in the lead here in the Global Rallycross Championship because obviously of Marcus Grönholm going out at X Games. Oh, and a good start there for David Binks.
But he and Tanner are fighting it out. Oh, already! Oh dear, it looks like Verdier and Isaksson got a little bit of contact there. Now they are supposed to bypass the jump on the very first lap, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there.
Well, that's going to be an interesting one because technically Tanner Faust, I think, was trying to get out of the way. We're just getting a message from race control. It's okay. Tanner Faust was trying to avoid problems, so they're going to let this one go.
For safety, they're going to let that go. That was the first time we got to see them go through the dirt section there, and very cautious up here, but wow, still a little bit of contact. That was close.
Did you see how close Faust's back tire got to the edge of that hairpin? But currently, David Binks in the lead.
That's David Binks. We've seen him in competition before, but he was in that magenta-colored car before, and now he's got a new partnership with eBay, and it's great to see him leading this very first heat.
Oh, look at this. Here comes the long cut for Tanner Faust and Verdier, so that is the one time they will have to do the long cut. I think smart strategy there.
Yeah, they want to try and build some space around each other so that they're not battling on every corner, but with Stefan Verdier right there on his tail, he's got a new engine package, and he's putting up a good fight.
And interesting when they come back through the jump there, you can see the sun is currently right in their eyes. All kinds of carnage there.
A little bit of a bump, but the catch fence got him, and there's the leader there. We're looking at David Binks over the jump. Very nice.
The question now is whether Binks will actually take this long cut. No, he goes for the shortcut through the dirt.
And that long cut adds 2, maybe 3 seconds to a lap. We've been seeing it as a shortcut where you were able to make up time. Here you lose a little bit of time, so it'll be interesting to see, can David Binks hold on to his lead when he goes through that long cut, which he's going to have to do on this lap.
Tanner going a little bit long on the tabletop there, landing kind of flat. Well, there you go. Binks got rid of the cone for us.
And those guys cut it really tight. You don't want to come too far on the inside of that either.
Look at how close this race is right now. If David Binks goes for the long cut, Tanner Faust is going to be really close. This one will be tight. Is he going for the long cut? Yes.
So watch this merge when David Binks comes in. Did he lose a position? He did. 2 positions. Oh, very exciting through the car wash there.
That was incredible racing. Binks just held that thing on and was not going to let go until he got past Verdier. But Tanner Faust now just put so much gap there and took that win. Great first heat win for Tanner Faust.
Very tight racing. He's got to be pleased with that. He had some mechanical problems when we last saw him at X Games with his steering, and looks like the car's back on point, and so is he.
Well, you see Tanner Faust looks pretty calm in the car there. Not like he actually, you know, just ran a heat and went sideways a couple of times. There you see the advance to the final. Tanner Faust, David Binks, the teammates will go through.
Look at that start. Watch Tanner Faust on the outside. Coming in, the two of them over the jump at the same time, and Tanner just gets a little bit in there, and Sverre Isaacson and Steph Verdier tangling it up.
And that really did some damage to Verdier's car too. So Isaacson trying to get that line into the chicane, and unfortunately, I think just went a little too aggressive on Stefan Verdier. Look at that start for David Binks, and then Tanner Faust really is starting to keep up.
Oh, wow, that is messy in there. But definitely with Tanner Faust and David Binks in identical cars. And there's David.
Binks on the long cut. Now watch this. Faust is already through. And look at that contact.
Wow, over the dirt. You know, that's a big traction challenge, and you don't want to be sideways over that little bump. This is great racing.
So that is the winner of the first heat, Tanner Faust. He goes through the final with David Binks. Come back for heat number 2.
Hey guys, Travis Pastrana here. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, round 4, Global Rallycross Championship, and I'm about to give you your GoPro course preview. Coming across the start-finish line right here, this is the most tricky obstacle on the track. Everyone's been going over the top, get sandy down there, just trying to get as fast as you can without hitting the inside or going off. A little speed bump right here, trying to be in as high gear as you possibly can, have to be accelerating through there. Through the chicanes in 3rd gear, try to hit this about 3/4 throttle in 3rd gear, and it'll get you over the jump, probably around just under 60 miles an hour. Hard to tell, we don't have a speedometer, but we got to be really precise there. Going down to 1st gear in this corner, trying to get up to 2nd and up to 3rd as much as we can. You get a lot of wheel spin, but this is where the Dodge Dart really accelerates. Go through the water splash there, coming into this corner. Everyone's been kind of running wide there, almost hitting the wall. It's going to be a great passing area. I jumped to flat, unfortunately, on this lap. Was still my best lap, but ended up breaking the suspension and the drive shaft. Still able to get that the car through the finish line in 3rd place, and that's your GoPro course preview. It's going to be one heck of an exciting race.
Well, Travis Pastrana did absolutely jump that thing all the way to the flat. Here you see the course crew working on that hairpin. We knew this would be the problem. We knew it would be the place to watch, and certainly it's proving to be tonight. So they're trying to put the edge pieces back on. This is what saves your tires from going off the side of the track. Well, one heat in the books, and the winner of that heat, Tanner Faust. He's down with Shannon Spake.
Tanner Faust, your rear wheels kind of got a little bit of the edge of that tail, that hairpin turn right there. What was the key to you guys winning this heat, though?
I think it was just head down speed. You know, I made a mistake on the very first bit, and I took the jump, which is an option on the first lap, and it's much faster to not take the jump, and I just had a brain fade and I took the jump, so that instantly put me back a couple seconds. Took the joker lap to get some free track, and then just laid down some laps, and little Fiesta did well, and so then it was really a battle with the other Fiesta, David Binks, and I just nipped him right in the very last lap.
Saw some of you guys talking. David Binks was one of those guys. What were you guys discussing?
We were talking the start procedure was a little bit tricky, and the start is so critical. For this type of racing, you know, these cars out of the hole are 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, and it's really important that you take advantage of every one of those tenths of a second. So there was a little confusion of when the start was going to happen. Everybody ended up jumping off at about the same time, I think. I saw some carnage, but just glad to make it out of that one with the first.
See you in the final.
Tanner really did have a great start there, and I think that saved him from some of the carnage he's talking about.
For sure, you want to be out front, and look at David Binks and Tanner Faust, virtually identical cars, and this is a drag race to the first corner. It's very important that you get a good start. Tanner's got great reaction times right there, and look, they're ahead, they're out of the carnage. Sverre was trying to catch up.
Well, Where here we've got NASCAR Nationwide and Sprint Cup weekend. There you have Kurt Busch on hand to watch the action. And last night, I've got to tell you, in that practice last night, I think every single NASCAR driver here was watching. It was just unbelievable. Juan Pablo Montoya also watching. Of course, a fan from our first race in Charlotte.
And here we've got Casey Mears looking on. Lots of interest for sure from these NASCAR guys. Maybe we'll see a couple of them out in these cars next season.
You think these guys would all be kind of relaxing, getting ready for their race tomorrow, but no, they're down here to watch the excitement, and well, they should be, because it's been just incredible up until this point. 5 cars in this heat. Here's Dave Mira. He is sitting, looking incredibly calm in that Subaru, ready to go out and do battle with the other 4 cars. And I think this is going to be just an incredible heat.
Yeah, the lineup in the front line here, this is the first time today that we've seen a 2-row starting grid. We have 5 cars in the competition here. Brian Deegan getting ready to go here. But they've got the grid staggered, so they've got 3 cars in the front row and 2 cars in the rear. This is based on their seating time from last night, and man, that was a challenging session.
And we've already seen that things get awful tight once they start going down this front stretch. After that first little mogul, the little wooden jump there, the red car, Andy Scott, he is the guy that famously took Travis Pastrana out in the X Games, and Sverre Isaksen's race is kind of hopefully maybe ended a little earlier. It's not raining, folks. That's just the car wash that puts water down on the course deliberately. That's what we do in Rallycross.
We want those traction changes. Maybe not for the tow tracks. Sverre was trying to do a kind of aggressive move, something he did at X Games. He was trying to come from the outside, cut across the pack, and get in. Luck was with him at X Games, and he got to the head of his heat. Did not work for him here, unfortunately. So they'll be working on the car.
Andy Scott is in the back row here, too, and they're going to try and squeeze their way through here.
Here is the starting grid. In the front row, we've got Ken Block, Brian Deegan, and Dave Mira. And in the rear there, we're looking at Andy Scott and Pat Morrow beside him. All sorts of different cars in this final.
And Pat Morrow, I have to say, is one of the smoothest guys on that big gap jump, and has been consistently all through the series. So if he can get some clear space, he should be able to take that thing easy. But the car, I don't think, is aspirated as well, certainly as well as the Fords are.
That's an older car. He brought that to X Games, I think, for the first time in 2007. It is an older build of car, but man, they fly really well. It's the first kind of car that we used to see in the air. Ken Block used to have one, and they fly flat and they fly well.
So here you see 3 cars on the front of the grid, 2 on the back. Ken Block, Brian Deegan, and Dave Mira, all legends from action sports, are about to launch. Who is going to get through the chicane first?
Great start for Brian Deegan. Look at him way up front already and banging it, bashing doors. And Ken Block's going to take those tires as far as he can.
Well, all kinds of damage to Block's car, and it looks like that will be the end of the heat for Ken Block. He rolled to a stop after collecting the entire tire wall. Morrow going through the long cut. Oh, and there you see Ken Block. See the damage on the front end there, so he will not be racing the rest of this heat. And the course blockage has caused.
We're looking at a red flag, so they're going to have to stop this heat.
I don't think Brian Deegan has actually seen that red flag. Oh, yeah, picked it up there. Let's take a look at the front of this Ford. Just crushed in the front end by connecting with those tires and then carrying the tires so far, which I think ripped a bit more of the bodywork off.
Yep, the windshield crushed, the front, rear. You can see the suspension exposed. Amazing damage. So this heat is going to start over. But there's a great start for Brian Deegan in this first running. Fantastic start for Deegan.
Block really has this one, but oh, tags with
Andy Scott.
Wow.
And Andy Scott got into a tangle with Travis Pastrana, of course, at X Games, and there's a little tangle with Ken Block here.
And really not necessarily saying this is Andy's fault. It was one of those things where they're both going for a very, very small opening. Oh, that was tough. This is Dave Mira's in-car from the Subaru, and there's Andy going sideways. Ken already in the tie. Wow, Dave just missing
hard there too. Yeah, Dave just steering around that thing. Look at Deegan on the start line here. Determination in his face.
His shifts are so fast. His team manager actually told us he shifts faster than any of the other drivers on the team.
And when things are decided by a fraction of a second, that makes a big difference on these straightaways.
And there, Scott and Block connect. Actually, Ken looked like he drove back to the left into Andy, so
really tough when you've got a jump in the mix there, you know, little rebound, you can go in either direction. That's a tough thing, and wow, that's got to be disappointing, of course, for Ken Block. But again, it emphasizes how critical that start is. If you're out front, you're out of the trouble.
So Ken Block has all kinds of problems, and we're going to be restarting heat number 2. You don't want to miss any of this crazy carnage. Welcome back to the Global Rallycross Championship from New Hampshire Motor Speedway in beautiful Loudon, New Hampshire. All kinds of carnage has been going on here in Loudon, and you know, I've got to say that it probably isn't over yet, and we're having a lot of fun here though tonight in New Hampshire.
We've got the course officials putting the track together already. There is so much going on. They've been pretty busy already tonight.
Hi everyone, Tess Sewell along with Jen Horsey, and Jen, I think one of the biggest features we've seen that we didn't expect is this chicane at the start has really proved a big problem for a lot of the drivers in both the heats we've had so far.
They come in off the start and then they go over this little jump which unsettles the cars, and they bunch together into this chicane. And yes, it is a challenging element. There's not a lot of room there, and it's a tight line. Look at that first heat.
And the thing is, you think that tires are soft. You think rubber, that's got to be a soft compound, but not when you're up against the bodies of these cars. This one, a great start for Brian Deegan, but check this out. Andy Scott and Ken Block connect. And
just a little
happens.
bit of a tap. He's way offline and straight into those tires. He takes them with him quite a while, and they are doing some damage with every rotation of the wheel there.
And that's just one of the problems we've had here on the track in 2 heats. And one guy we haven't seen racing yet is this man, Travis Pastrana.
He's coming up here in this competition, but he's already been on the course today in NASCAR.
Travis sitting in the car, getting ready for heat 3, but he's had a tough time here in the GRC racing up until this point.
We have everything we need to win. Let's not think about all the other races that haven't gone well this year. I mean, first race got slammed into the wall. Second race, I broke the car in half. Third race, got slammed into the wall again.
Oh, no!
This has never been seen before! Yeah, I didn't have that one in the script.
It's a great car. It's a great team. I've been just messing up, and I've been having help into a couple of the walls this year.
Well, speaking of going into the walls, watch this. In the nationwide race today, lap 77, a hard hit for Travis Pastrana in that 99 car. Take a look at this from the onboard. And luckily, safer walls here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but it really hasn't been a very good season for him. Take a look at this. His best finish in Global Rallycross Championship, a 9th in Charlotte.
I really hope that we can see some better results from him this season. He has the potential. The car is great. He's got the skill. He'll be coming up later in this race.
Well, he's waiting because obviously a little bit of repair has to be done on this course. But here we have to restart heat number 2 because of the red flag situation that we had. But you'll notice there's a couple of cars missing.
Yeah, only 3 cars remaining in this heat, and it's starting again. That is Pat Morrow, Brian Deegan, and Dave Mira off the start here. And I hope Deegan can get another great start. It was such a good start the first time we saw him.
So Deegan in the middle of this group in that Rockstar machine. He is hoping to get the jump on Mira and Morrow. Wow, good start for Pat Morrow.
Look at him go. He doesn't quite have the horsepower though, so he can't hold on to that lead, and Deegan gets in front of him.
So they bypass the jump on this first lap. Now the question is, will anyone take the long cut? It looks like Pat Morrow is going for it.
Going for the same strategy again. Take the long cut early, get a little bit of space cushion built around him, and try and stay out of trouble, especially as they come across into these traction changes. Look how far the sand is coming.
Now you see the sand getting dragged up onto the course there, and that's going to continue every single lap. And the problem is when they drag it here onto the hairpin, that is where Ken Block had the problem last night.
And you can really see it. It comes out of their wheel wells. They have little skid plate underbody protection. It comes out of there. Every time they hit the brakes, they're dropping sand on this track.
Here we go for the big gap jump. No problem.
Very nice. I want to see what happens when they get up here into the sand. And you know, that's a visibility challenge as well. If they're side by side or nose to tail as they come through there, especially with the setting sun, it can be very hard to see. Look how dirty the windscreens get. That's from Dave Mira on board there.
Great onboard shot there from Mira's Subaru, and Mira is catching Brian Deegan. That's a big surprise. Deegan has certainly been very fast in Global Rallycross Championship competition, but Dave Mira is putting the hammer down here tonight.
He is putting the hammer down. Brian Deegan's car is a European Rallycross car that's been prepared for a number of years. They've had a lot of time to develop the car. On board again with Dave Mira. This car is in development, and it's been getting faster and faster every race.
Mira goes for the long cut, so now only Brian Deegan has that option left. You have to do it once per race. You must take the long way around. I am amazed at how good Dave Mira looks. Wow! Almost tags the wall.
Whoa, that is not the line you're looking for over the tabletop jump, but he saves it, if just barely.
How did Dave Mira manage to save that one? Oh, no! The tire is gone.
Oh, that's really tough. I hope he can keep going because he's still got a shot here.
So there's Brian Deegan. He goes over the jump. He will take the long cut right now, but the long way around doesn't pose any threat for him because, as you saw, the problem there for Dave Mira.
And Dave Mira over the jump with a flat tire, lands it, and now he's coming back in through the dirt. Brian Deegan's pretty much got this in the bag.
And I think the problem there for Mira was when he came off the side of that tabletop jump you're looking at. Obviously, it puts a lot of pressure on the back end of the car. The most amazing thing, though, is the fact that Dave Mira is going to finish this at all.
Here he comes again, and there's Brian Deegan talking to his team. I think his car is pretty much unscathed, but wow. Look at that. Just managed to hold it together and progress on through here. I don't know if maybe a tire went flat before he had that issue on the tabletop, or his steering. The car doesn't look too bad.
But Dave Mira will get to advance through with Brian Deegan, so now he will rush back. The crew will work hard on getting that car put back together. But a great race for Brian Deegan, cleanly into the final, which means he gets to sit out that last chance qualifier.
And with so much carnage that we're seeing out here, it's critical. You don't want to run too much, but talking about that dirt, look at him coming up there. Look at how much is coming off the rear of Brian Deegan's
It's like an entire beach worth of sand gets deposited on the hairpin at every lap. And that's causing a lot of problems. Watch this, though. Slides out, almost tags the wall, then decides to go for it. The sideways option over the tabletop, and there you see that very, very hard landing.
Very hard landing, but he keeps it together. It's the thing is, when something goes wrong, look at him coming over the jump with what looks like a flat
tire. He's flying 80 feet with a flat tire. Unbelievable driving from Dave Mira.
The bravery of these drivers, something we saw from Ken Block as well in X Games. Dave there talking to his crew chief.
There you see he's talking about the car, but I gotta say, the car looked fantastic. His driving was spot on. He really was chasing down Brian Deegan. So a threat in the final, certainly Dave Mira and that Subaru.
It's great to see it as he continues to work for his car, and I'm sure they'll get that back to 100% shape in time for the final.
So heat number 3 on the line. This, folks, is where you get to see Mr. Travis Pastrana. He's at the top of your screen in the blue car. And this is going to be exciting. The front row and the back row, Jen. This is very important.
Indeed it is. Samuel Hubenet there beside Travis Pastrana in the middle, and then on the outside we have Liam Dorn. In the back row, Richard Burton, whose car we were seeing pushed earlier, and Bucky Lassing.
Lined up, ready to go. This is the final heat. Who will advance through and who will be in the last chance? A jump there for Hubenet.
It looked like maybe. No, and they're continuing on down the course. Look, we're finally getting to see some speed out of Travis Pastrana's car as he chases down Hubenet here. This is going to be a very tight race if they can all hold it together. Aggression. Look at Liam Doran on the outside coming up.
And Doran both go for that long cut right there. So the jump did count. They're going to call a red flag. If Hübinette had given that place back to Travis Pastrana, the red flag would not be flying right now. But to be fair, we saw the jump. It was quite evident. So, wow, that's a pretty exciting start.
Let's take another look and see. Watch the orange car in the middle here, and you can see just before everybody else's wheels spin, Samuel Hübinette gets just a tiny bit of a jump.
And they told the drivers in the driver meeting, if you jump but you correct yourself, that's fair. We won't red flag it, but he doesn't correct. He doesn't try and go back or give the other guys an advantage. So, red flag on heat number 3. We will run this one again. There you say Steve Mira. He's already through to the finals. Who will be joining him? The second running of heat number 3 on the line here at the Global Rallycross Championship from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. A red flag situation on the last start because the gentleman in the orange car at the very back, he jumped the start. So Samuel Hübinette moves to the back, and that means he's going to have to fight his way through traffic.
He gets a penalty and has to move a car length behind the last row, which makes a 3-row start grid here.
So Travis Pastrana in the blue car, Liam Doran in the black, Bucky Lasek in the middle in the orange and black. And again, Liam Doran has a problem launching off the start, and Travis Pastrana is off. But look at the pursuit of Samuel Hübinette and that Saab.
That's going to be an interesting fight. Travis Pastrana way out front there, but Samuel Hübinette in that Saab, that car turns. It's very competitive. Look at them in the dirt, door to door. They're very close.
Wow, you saw that Travis Pastrana completely sideways, side by side over the tabletop, and Hübinette, I think, he's got the speed on Pastrana.
This is going to be a matter of keeping it clean. If these guys can avoid contact and have some clean, well, there you go. They can't avoid contact.
Nice little bump from Travis Pastrana. The crowd going absolutely nuts here in New Hampshire. So the Dodge Dart of Travis Pastrana out front, over the jump, both nice and clean. But we've seen these Saabs of Hübinette and Andy Scott. They're super fast machines.
This is an opportunity for us to see both of these cars where they belong. They're both very competitive, fast, competitive cars, and they've just been having some little problems. So here we get to see them both flat out in some fair racing. Look at
the face of Travis Pastrana in this car. He looks as if he's just seen a ghost or something. He's fighting the way around. Hübinette trying to cut the inside.
Samuel Hübinette, a Formula Drift guy, trying to make the fastest line through that corner. He's not afraid of his handbrake.
So one of these two guys is going to have to take the long cut, the long way around. I think they put a decent gap on Bucky Lasek. It looks like now.
We've seen it happen.
He chose not to go. I thought Hübinette was going to go there, but he obviously felt he had something left for Pastrana. He's going to follow him all the way through to the finish.
That's an interesting line. There's actually a bit of a discussion the drivers were having yesterday about what the fast line is. Do you cut the inside or do you go wide? Samuel was trying the wide line. This is so amazing to see them side by side every time.
I was worried that Hübinette might go a little too hot into that hairpin and give Travis Pastrana a bump, but so far, no. Hübinette now is hoping that when they go into this long cut, he can take Travis Pastrana, maybe by drifting through on the inside.
It's a good bet. Let's see what happens here. Sam Hübinette, of course, is a stunt driver when he's not competing. Very precise driver, and he's hoping to catch him. Didn't work through there.
So far, this is the race that Travis Pastrana has been looking for all season long. They go over the tabletop, and Travis Pastrana is managing to hold off the charge, and he's going to take it. Travis Pastrana finally successful.
Oh, I'm so happy to see that. You know, that was good, clean racing from the two of those guys. He looks just relieved, right?
Finally, a smile on the number 199's face. He's going to pull that back into the pit and get it ready for the final, because that is where he is going. But this start was absolutely unbelievable. Travis Pastrana does great, and then Hübinette fighting him all the way into the hairpin.
Side by side over the tabletop jump, just, you know, inches apart, trying to get through here and trying to get some advantage.
Watch Travis here.
Watch it. Well, this is great strategy. Travis breaks and goes for the inside, bumps Hubernet out. That was a fantastic move from Travis Pastrana.
It was an incredibly risky move, and I think it worked out for him, but I hope that the other guys don't think that's a good idea, because we've seen that feature is a challenge.
And again, look at all the sand being deposited on the track. I love the little nudging here. Travis Pastrana bumping him, then takes him on the inside and has that straight line speed to get past him. Absolutely fantastic racing.
And there we see it again. I gotta say, that looks like a little bit of luck was on his side there. And you know what? He deserves it now. He's needed some luck.
And here you are on board with Travis Pastrana. Watch, a little bump, another little bump, and then suddenly no orange car.
Suddenly just clear track.
Well, that's the way to do it. So Pastrana and Hubernet will advance through to the final. What a great final this is turning out to be. And we're excited, folks, because Travis Pastrana, as we said, has had an incredibly rough year so far in Global Rallycross Championship competition. And now he finally gets to go and really tackle everybody else at the end of a race, which is what we've been waiting to see.
I don't know how that's going to be. All right.
So Ken Block, look at that. This team is unbelievable. They've already got him fixed. He's already pre-gridded, ready for the last chance qualifier. So Ken Block will be in the last chance qualifier. That is good news. But even better news is for Travis Pastrana, and Shannon has caught up with him.
Well, guys, I think the smile that you saw on Travis Pastrana's face on the in-car camera, I think that pretty much says it all. I know it's been so tough for you, Travis. What did it mean to finally break through and get this?
No, it was amazing to get a win. We finally got really got the Dodge start working great, and got a good qualifying position. It didn't really matter where you lined up, but Samuel being definitely the other top of the field, Doran having some trouble there, but there's some stuff we definitely have to work on, but I don't think anyone thought there was going to be a pass on that right-hand turn, so I'm expecting a little payback from him in the main event, but hopefully we can get that Red Bull discount tire Dodge start out front again. And I mean, I didn't think anything would help me smile from this earlier race that we had in the nationwide race, but I'm smiling, so we'll see if we can keep that.
How did you guys manage getting through that hairpin turn too wide?
I have no idea. It was really hard getting through just single file, but I don't know, something about the race. And I tell you what, like, he came in, and I knew I kept him all the way down the inside, so he was going to do a U-turn, but unless he really stopped, he'd have to go to the outside. So I was like, this might work, but sorry, Samuel. That was good. Everyone stayed on the track. That's my kind of aggressive racing, is when you can bump and everyone stays on the track. I've definitely had my fair share of being bumped off the track this year. But hey, that's rally. It's exciting. It's a fun track. It's going to be a really wild main event.
Great job. See you in the final.
Thank you.
And certainly really fair racing there, I think, from Travis Pastrana. He just gave him a little nudge, and the strategy played out perfectly. But more importantly, the last chance qualifier coming up, his buddy, Ken Block, you saw have a problem with those tires. He is going to have to fight his way through that last chance qualifier to get into the final and join Travis Pastrana. They are patching that Ford together, Jen.
That crew looks like they have worked some miracles. A new windshield. Amazing to see them put those things in really quickly here. And body back on that front right corner.
So Ken Block gets ready for the last chance qualifier, and Travis Pastrana already through to the main event. Can he win this?
Hi, I'm Bucky Elastic, and if you don't know, now you know.
Tony Hawk called it. He said, watch out for Bucky Elastic.
What's up, this Dave Mira? Google me, homie.
In the box, there it is. Oh, we don't call him the Miracle Man for nothing.
I've been riding BMX for years, and I've always focused on BMX, and that was my passion from a little kid. I had to follow through with that to go to anything else.
I started skateboarding around 12 years old, and I never put it down.
In BMX, for all the years and all the time I put into it, it made me be in touch with making my mind and my body work together.
I couldn't really focus on racing because I was already so deep into skateboarding. If I skated only and I never raced, I wouldn't be that good in racing. You know, it's spending the same amount of time in the same mindset kind of applies.
I've always loved cars. I always tell people that, a lot of my friends got a car at 16, I got a car at 36.
It's not easy by any means, and it takes seat time. It's the same thing as with skating. You're not going to send someone off and have them drop in on a vert ramp, and you're not going to send someone out in one of these rally cars and expect them to perform. So it's all about, you know, building up to this point.
In car racing, you know, what's cool about it is that you have a team, and to try to get a grip on that, and to trust your team, you trust Subaru, trust Vermont Sports Car, you know, trust everything all around you, not just yourself.
Just packed with adrenaline. It's about consistency, and it's about, you know, pushing your limits to the highest level.
And Bucky Lasek waiting there on the grid for his chance in the last chance qualifier. Welcome back, everyone. The Sylvania Silverstar ZXE Global Rallycross Championship. This week we're in New Hampshire at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And of course this week is the second round in the Discount Tire America's Tire Cup. Points leader Marcus Gronholm is out due to an accident at the X Games, so Tanner Faust and Brian Deegan are battling for first place. Meanwhile, 15th in points, Travis Pastrana has a lot of ground to make up here. The winner of this season-long Discount Tire America's Tire Cup is going to be the driver with the highest combined score from each of the Cup races, gets a trophy and $25,000 following the finale at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Follow the action at DiscountTireMotorsports.com. So there you see the cars getting lined up. Bucky Lasek gets a good position on that grid.
He does have a good position on that grid beside Pat Morrow and Stefan Verdier. It's a 3-row grid again. So the second row, we have Liam Doran and Ken Block.
And then in the back, you see Andy Scott and Sverre Isaksson. Isaksson managed to get that car ready to go, as did Block. So a couple of beaten up cars here, but I've got a feeling they're really going to be hungry for this one. Great start for Ken Block there in that second row.
And Stefan Verdi out front, though, in the Motor City Veloster. Got a good lead, but look, everybody made it through the chicane clean.
Very clean, and I have to say, Sverre Isaksson played a very smart and sensible race there. Liam Doran, Sverre Isaksson going for the long cut. Oh, Isaksson, a problem in the corner.
Isaksson spins out on the corner, makes that, maybe it's 2 or 3 seconds now for the long cut.
Oh, and that is such a shame also for Pat Morrow, but Verdier and Block. Block saw Travis do a little tagging here, beating and banging, and there you saw Verdier's tire actually drop off the outside.
Right off the edge of that, and there's Bucky Lasek. He had trouble with this feature yesterday in practice, and it doesn't seem to be getting any easier on him today. But, you know, he'll get back started on the course.
Verdier nosing in there on that jump. That is a big gap, and he seemed to go a little bit long. But Ken Block chasing him down. Right now, though, that Hyundai is just blisteringly fast.
It's great to see him. He's got a new engine package, so he's got more power than he's had before and is looking competitive with the other cars in this field, managing to stay out front and hold off Ken Block in that Ford Fiesta.
Oh,
wow.
Mistake he made there. He went too far on the inside. He actually clipped what is the pit wall, that white thing you see coming out of the middle of the hairpin. So a problem there for Verdier. Hopefully that didn't damage the car.
That is a risky move, and that will flatten a tire in a heartbeat. So you've got to be very careful to make sure that you stay on the 16-foot deck of that feature.
Verdier going for the long cut right now. That allows Block to come through and take the lead on the road. Ken Block will definitely take advantage of this. A fight between Verdier and Doran. Look, Doran's car is hanging half in pieces.
But he's still putting up a fight. He's going to keep in this right until the end. This guy is a European rallycross competitor, and he is a very competitive driver.
So Ken Block goes through Verdier, and you saw Doran there also try to really cut the inside. I think that's a dangerous move for these guys.
And they are all trying it because they saw it work once. Maybe it'll work for them. Ken Block over the jump there. Flames coming out of the back of his car as he lifts off the throttle. Beautiful.
Can you believe just minutes ago this car was literally in pieces, smashed windshield. You saw it. Block is going to come through third. How can he even see behind Liam Doran?
He probably can't see very well, but he's going to keep up there. Once they're out of the dust, he's going to get on the throttle and try and catch.
So it is going to be Verdier that takes the last chance qualifier. What an incredible race that was. Ken Block really was pushing all of the way to the end, but it wasn't enough to get him through in front of Verdier once they came past that long cut. I think he's going to be a very happy man.
He's going to be Verdier, Doran, Block, and Scott will advance to the final now. 4 cars more in the final.
So phenomenal racing we've seen here so far. This is where Liam Doran and Sverre Isaksson were going around the long cut. Doran gets through, but Sverre again has a problem. Pat Morrow tags him in the door, and Andy Scott just cruises around. That's a really unfortunate circumstance for Pat Morrow.
And it's so tough to get restarted when something like that happens. And here are these two guys coming up on that hairpin with that aggressive move as they try and come in the inside.
And I think Bucky was just really nervous. Remember, he rolled off the side of this thing yesterday, and he didn't want to do it again tonight. So that's a problem for Bucky Lasek. I think lost a little bit of confidence because of what happened before. But here, block, and you see Verdier going across the middle there. That's so dangerous. Then the tire falls off.
He just drops right off the outside of that ramp. There isn't a fence there. You got to be careful, guys. Come on.
So we've seen all kinds of chaos on our hairpin here at the Global Rallycross Championship, but we're ready for the final. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We've seen tons of excitement already here at the Global Rallycross Championship from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And we're getting ready for the final race of the night, the main event. And take a look at this. They're trying to get the sand off that hairpin turn. This has been a challenge, as we called it. But they're going to get this one clean for this one final race here tonight. Looks like an entire beach there. Well, coming up after New Hampshire, we're going to roll into Sin City, Las Vegas on September 29th for our final race of the season. And for more on that race, let's pop on down to Shannon Spake.
Yeah, well, Tess, every race, well, you have to have a trophy. And I am in victory lane right now. This is actually the trophy that the winner of that race will receive. The Las Vegas trophy, the GRC finale. It's actually a replica of the Las Vegas sign. There's a little button here. It actually lights up. It's very cool, of course, that race being held on the same weekend as the truck race. And Tess, you know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I think that could kind of be applied to rally racing as well. What do you think?
I think it definitely applies to rally racing, though I had this feeling that what happened at X Games with Travis Pastrana and Andy Scott would not stay at X Games. We've yet to see that one happen if Andy Scott gets through to the final. Speaking of X Games, obviously it was a challenging event, but incredibly challenging for a couple of drivers. First, Thomas Heikkinen, take a look at this. He shorts the jump. He's not going fast enough, underjumps the thing, and just smashes that Ford into the landing ramp. Wow, that is just an incredible hit. And then Marcus Grunholm, our series leader, had a problem in practice. He smashes into a concrete post, and that ended Marcus Grunholm's X Games. You see this? And tough break for both of those. For more on that, Shannon.
Yeah, well, a release from the team on both of those drivers. Heikkinen is back in Finland recovering. He did have a broken left ankle. He is hoping to return for the season finale, as we just mentioned, in Las Vegas. And as for Grunholm, a head injury, he is still in Los Angeles, but out of the hospital, and just looking forward to a speedy recovery. Tess?
Thank you very much, Shannon. Yes, we wish both of those guys a speedy recovery. Obviously, having someone as great as Marcus Grunholm in this field every week has been just fantastic. And Thomas Heikkinen, Jen, this guy is just so exciting.
Young newcomer here in America, first time he's been competing this season, and yeah, he's back home playing a lot of video games, I think. And I texted Marcus Grunholm yesterday, and he was asking how things are going. Looking forward to, he's going to be watching for sure.
Well, Ken Block just destroyed this car in his heat, and yet he managed to come back to get all the way through the final. Take a look at this. All kinds of problems going on. Brian Deegan is out in clean air.
But then Scott and Block and a little bit of contact there, maybe a little harder hit than it looked at first. And there goes Block into the tires. Look at all the damage.
So there you see Ken Block was destroyed in his heat, but he is back in the final. This is him in the LCQ, fighting his way through, right behind Stefan Verdier there. And you can see the windshield already repaired.
And taped up and looking pretty good, considering all the damage that we saw.
So Ken Block hang together and make it all the way through to win the final. We'll find out when we return. Welcome back, everybody, to the Sylvania Silverstar ZXE Global Rallycross Championship from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at the Discount Tire America's Tire starting grid for the final, Jen.
There's 10 cars out there. They almost don't all fit on the screen. In the first row, Tanner Faust, Brian Deegan, and Travis Pastrana. That's those Ford Fiestas lined up against the Dodge Dart. Here's where Travis gets a chance to prove the speed.
Then there's 2 cars in the second row. That's Samuel Hubinette and David Binks, who looked very fast in his heat race.
Yeah, and then we get back and we can see this third row, Dave Mira, Stefan Verdier, and Ken Block.
And how on earth Ken Block got in there, we have no idea. Then rounding it out, Liam Doran, and as he told me, the most hated man at X Games for taking out Travis Pastrana, Andy Scott. 10 cars will start this final, and you know they're trying to go through a very, very narrow opening.
Who has got the start? It looks like a 3-car race. Wow. And Tanner Faust just skates in there, but everybody makes it through the chicane clean, and it's a battle between the Fiesta and the Dart.
That was unbelievable racing from all 10 of our drivers. Hats off to them. We see Hubinette and Liam Doran going for that long cut, but a bit of bumping from Stefan Verdier.
5 cars take the long cut, and 5 cars stay on the main lap.
This is good news for Tanner Faust out front right now, but he's being chased down by Travis Pastrana. I'm so excited that Travis Pastrana actually made it through to the final.
I am too, and that is an aggressive pack of drivers right there. No holds barred racing that we're seeing on the track right now. Tanner's going to have to do everything he can to hold off Travis Pastrana.
I thought Pastrana might actually catch him in the air there, so setting themselves up for this turn and across the dirt. Watch this onboard from Pastrana. He's lucky that he can actually see that much, because that sand has got pretty wild as we've gone through some of the heat races.
It is just everywhere on the course, especially as they approach this hairpin turn up here. Travis Pastrana was a little lucky on that jump. He came off the side of it. Yeah, a little pushing, a little shoving.
Little bump. Has Faust got a problem?
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe it was just the contact over that feature on the hairpin.
Oh, Faust's teammate David Binks, the Englishman, goes through it front. Look who is leading this race, folks. It's Travis Pastrana.
Look at him go as David Binks is now hunting him down.
Oh, this is crazy. Binks goes a little bit sideways. Faust is trying to find a way through.
And they funnel in through that gap jump. That's a place where it's really hard to pass. And it's funny, they're trying to find a way to pass over that tabletop jump, which is incredible.
Oh, they are coming in really hot to the tabletop, and there's 3 of them because they've been joined by Samuel Hubinette and the Saab.
Samuel Hubinette goes for a pass there, and he's up beside Tanner Faust. Those guys are old rivals.
Okay, gotta say, Hubinette right now is really pushing hard. I think maybe a little too hard. Tanner Faust brake check there. I've got a feeling that the officials might say something to Samuel Hubinette about that driving, because he pushed Binks off the side of the hairpin and then really was tagging hard on Tanner Faust.
Over, under, look at that as Scott goes under and these 2 cross under. And they're going to try and hunt down Travis Pastrana.
And meanwhile, lurking in the back there, I'm not sure, but that is Brian Deegan in 4th place right now. So Deegan is coming on hot, but meanwhile, Travis Pastrana, he's out clean. Will he take the long cut this time?
He's got his spotter in his ear telling him when a good time to do that is, and now is not the time.
But Tanner Faust does. Oh, I think Hubinette was thinking of following Faust, then decided at the last minute to go through the dirt and follow Pastrana. He may have lost a few seconds there, Jen.
I'm not sure if that was a good move. That indecision at that point, it cost 10ths of a second.
Look at the timing here. The Saab is getting closer to Travis Pastrana's Dodge Dart. There's Deegan coming through in third.
A little bit of a fumble, but he made it, and he's pushing hard to get ahead of his teammate, Tanner Faust.
So let's see, does Travis Pastrana go out wide? Yes, he does. This is him going for the long cut.
And now let's see where he merges with the pack. Can he hold on to this lead?
There you see Samuel Hubernet. He's not going to make it.
Very tight, but he does it. Congratulations, Travis. Now if he can just keep it clean and stay out front here, this race is his to lose at this point.
And it's Travis Pastrana taking a checkered flag.
Good job, Travis. It's been such a tough season for him. To see him cross the line in first place, such a redemption. He's got to be happy.
After crashing into the wall at lap 77 of his nationwide race today, he manages to jump into this rally car, and he wins, finally wins, his first Global Rallycross Championship event this season. He is incredibly happy, as is second place Samuel Hubernet, who you also see doing burnouts in the orange Saab. Look at the amount of dirt on the front of that car, but Travis Pastrana's clean, the clean front end, because he never got stuck behind anybody on the dirt section. I have a feeling he's going to wear the tires all the way down to the rim.
Congratulations, well-deserved burnout.
I think he's going to do a rebate jump. This is what he would do in freestyle motocross.
He got knocked out of the race by Andy Scott in X Games. And to come through now with a victory, he's got to feel amazing.
And he's out there in front of the packed grandstands on his victory lap.
Oh, this is just incredible. Travis Pastrana wheeling past this crowd. They came out for practice early in the morning. Then they came out again for practice last night, and they stayed and packed the house here tonight at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And these fans certainly got an epic show here at Global Rallycross. There you see the final results. Travis Pastrana holding off the hard-charging Samuel Hubernet, and Brian Deegan finally pipping Tanner Faust for third. Ken Block taking fifth, and amazing for Ken Block to fight his way all the way through the final and getting fifth. But it's all about this guy, the blue Dodge Dart of the 199, Travis Pastrana.
Finally, we get to see it, and here comes Travis Pastrana through that hairpin pass.
Almost high centers the car. He could have been stuck there for a very long time.
But there's his lead right there, and he holds it right until the finish.
There we see on board with Travis Pastrana waiting to get out of the car, and that's actually Samuel Hubernet trying to help him out of that car.
Maybe they're having a little conversation about that racing. Those guys are both pretty happy to be where they are. They've both had some bad luck, and to see them both come out onto the podium, that's great for them.
And the question is whether Tanner Faust will come and have a little word with Hubernet. We did see some pretty aggressive racing at one point there, but the race officials did not call that one. So we are done with the final. Travis Pastrana, after several tries, finally takes a win at the Global Rallycross Championship, and we'll talk to him when we come back. The GRC on ESPN is brought to you by Dodge, by Puma, and by Hyundai. Let's get caught up with what's happened this far with the Puma race summary.
He won. That's an excellent start there from Tanner Faust, but they get tangled up in the chicane. And that's it for Sverre Isaksson in that heat.
So Sverre Isaksson would have to get himself back together for the last chance qualifier. Meanwhile, check this out. Tanner Faust, David Binks, just roaring through their heat. All kinds of tag and go driving.
Look at the speed they carry through the straightaway there. And Tanner takes it.
In this heat, Brian Deegan in the first start manages to get a great start, but Ken Block is punted into the tires by Andy Scott. And you're not allowed to take that many tires with you in Global Rallycross.
You got a 12-tire minimum, and I think he broke a whole lot of damage to Ken Block's car in that incident there.
The amazing Monster World Rally team put that car back together. The red start, though, red flag would allow another restart. Check this out. Absolutely blistering speed from Dave Mira there. This is Brian Deegan in the Rockstar Ford. He was looking good.
And the start of Heat 3 here is the beginning of Travis Pastrana's redemption as he battles it out from the beginning with Samuel Humanet for the lead.
And this is absolutely the move of the race. The little bump and go for Travis Pastrana, passing that sub on the hairpin. Brakes, gives a little nudge, and then bye-bye from Travis Pastrana.
Excuse me, sir, that's my line, and I'll take it through the checker.
So Travis Pastrana advances through to the final, but in the LCQ, Liam Doran and Sverre Isaacson trying to go around the long cut. Isaacson stops, Pat Morrow tags him. Then Doran takes the inside line, and Bucky Lasek goes a little too high on the hairpin, and that would ruin it for Bucky Lasek.
Stefan Verdier out front for the win in the heat.
Which brings us to the final. And guess who gets out front? It's Tanner Faust. But he goes around the hairpin with Travis Pastrana almost getting hung up, but successfully getting through to take his first checkered flag of the season. That is a very, very happy 199. And he is down right now in victory lane with Shannon Spake.
Long-awaited victory for Travis Pastrana. Okay, so before this thing started, before this whole season started, I did a ride-along with you, and you told me you handpicked everyone on this team. And you told me if you won, it would be an emotional victory lane. So what's this moment like?
It's even more emotional than I could ever imagine, honestly, just because we've had such a hard run. And you know, honestly, everyone on this Dodge Star team has worked so hard, and it's we handpicked this whole crew, and we got this car, and we got everything, and we thought we were good, and we've just been getting creamed and crushed every race. And this race, I was like, you know what? I'm not being nice. We're gonna win. We're gonna put this thing on top of the box. And you know, Samuel definitely owes me one next time, and Tanner owes me one for next time. But you know what? We won, and I just want to thank everybody that's backed me, everyone that supported me. It has been a really rough, I mean, an entire year, and hopefully this is what we needed to put us back, because Nationwide was a tough race, but all those guys smiling back there, all my crew, all the guys in the Dodge Start with Red Bull, Discount Tire, and KMC, thank you guys for backing me, and thank you, because this is awesome, man. It feels so good.
Long-awaited win for Travis Pastrana. This is going to be a celebration here in Victory Lane.
Matt Crafton, kick some butt tonight if you're watching, man. They're going to win this thing.
There you go. Travis Pastrana celebrating with his team here in Victory Lane at New Hampshire. Guys?
Thanks, Shannon. Well, that was an incredible race for Travis Pastrana. And when you consider, Jen, that he had to come through a huge crash in that Nationwide race earlier, then jump into this car, a totally different kind of racing, and win it.
So great to see him at the top of the podium.
Well, our season finale comes from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Saturday, September 29th. Why don't you come and join us out there? It's going to be an amazing event. Global Rallycross apparel provided by Puma. Travis Pastrana enjoying his time out there. Finally winning something. Coming up next, the 2011 Reebok CrossFit Games. And those guys are going to be working hard. So congratulations to our winner, Travis Pastrana, and all the guys who put in an absolutely phenomenal race here in New Hampshire this weekend. So we'll have more beating, banging, dirt, dust, and craziness in Las Vegas. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.